It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Hello and welcome to the show. If you are an audio podcaster, episode number 175. 175. For those of you who are joining me today on liberty1tv.com, which, by the way, is a gift from God. It is a treat to be here. And this is my second show on Liberty One TV. There are a bunch of hosts on this endeavor, and I consider it to be an enormous blessing to be a part of it. So thanks for joining me, guys. Do greatly appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, I am a talk show host, audio and video podcaster, nationally syndicated comedy writer. If you've ever heard the Rush Limbaugh radio program, I started writing for Rush when I was a kid, right out of college, about 1990. And if you heard all of the bits I've done over the years, from the Clint Stones to Count Takshula to Placebex to just Obama stuff, a ton of stuff. If you've heard the Rush Limbaugh show, you know my stuff. I think it's important to be able to laugh at politics. Now, what I would ask you to do is to subscribe to Liberty One TV. If you get a chance to do that, just look at my show, Rob Carson Show, on Liberty One TV. This is a bastion of free speech that many of us have never seen before. All right? This is a bastion of free speech when you look at all of the things that are out there with regard to your media, with regard to what you can watch or listen to. We've never had the opportunity to be as honest and uncensored as now. If you are a conservative, if you are a libertarian, I am a libertarian, leaning conservative, subscribe to liberty1tv.com. It's $10 a month. Several things. $10 a month, $99 a year. I promise you, every day that I come in here, I will bring a show that is compelling, entertaining, thought-provoking. So if you would subscribe, I think it's a glorious venture. A glorious venture. liberty1tv.com, $10 a month. Honestly, what do you spend $10 a month on? How much does that Starbucks cost you every day? $3? $3.50? $4? You got a tip, you're even looking at $10 a month. Join us. Join us. You've got Farron Franz, you've got Joe Biggs, you've got some great talk show hosts, Bill Finley, all of us on here. Unbridled freedom of expression. That's what it's all about. So join us, please. liberty1tv.com. liberty1tv.com. Big story of the day. You ready for the big story of the day? You know, it's on all of our minds. Every morning we wake up and we look at the TV and we're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That Chip and Joanna Gaines are going to leave HGTV. I know. Chip and Joanna Gaines are going to leave Fixer Upper. I'm upset. Obviously, you could concern yourself with the NFL protests. You could, talk about North Korea. But I think all of us are together on this, that it is a enormous tragedy that Chip and Joanna Gaines are going to leave HGTV. I know. Fixer Upper every day. Of course, I'm saying this with my tongue firmly ensconced in my cheek. It is a good show, though. I got to tell you, with regard to this show, it was my escape during the election season. So I really got tired of hearing about debates. And as a talk show host, watching the debates, analyzing all this stuff, I was actually kind of glad to watch HGTV with my wife and watch Chip and Joanna Gaines and their idyllic relationship with just completely unrealistic. Completely unrealistic. But they're ending it, by the way. They're ending it. They just want to focus on their family and their business. And they're going to be the first HGTV billionaires. You know that, right? They're going to be the first HGTV billionaires. And I like them. I think the show's fantastic. I'm sorry that they're leaving TV. Well, the NFL kneeling during the national anthem. There's a divide in the country, as we have seen. It has been caused for a variety of reasons. It started during the election. Well, it started during the Obama administration with regard to race, sex, and all that stuff. The NFL has decided to stand behind its players or kneel behind its players with regard to the national anthem. New survey by the Remington Research Group says that 64% of Americans think that you should stand and be respectful during the national anthem. 25% say no. 25%. That's the same number of people in the country who are liberal, and it's also the same number of people in the country who have been diagnosed with a mental illness. Not kidding. According to the survey, does this make you more or less likely to watch your favorite team's games in the future? More likely 30%, less likely 50%. Okay? With regard to thoughts on Donald Trump, 46% favorable, 47% unfavorable, 7% no opinion. Roger Goodell's favorable opinions, 12%. Unfavorable, 36%. 52% with no opinion because they're stupid. Have you watched more football or less football compared to previous years? This year, less football, 51%. Okay. One of the reasons why. Here are the reasons why people are watching less football. Players using the NFL as a stage for their political views, 69%. New rules that restrict physical contact, 5%. Did you just hear what I said? Political views, 70%. Do you think NFL players should stand and be respectful during the national anthem? 64% yes, no, 24%. Again, mentally ill or liberal, and unsure, 12%. There is a, I'll just say it, shitstorm coming to the NFL. Right now, the viewership is down 12%. It's going to get ugly. And this isn't about xenophobia. This isn't about whatever. This is about our reverence for our flag and those who fought to defend it. And listen, we live in a cruel-ass world. We live in a cruel world. There are people all over the world that would love to kill you, kill your children, and take your real estate. That's just it. We live in a cruel world, folks. If you want to think that we just exist to exist, you're wrong. If we're not strong, we're going to get our butts kicked. If we're not strong, we're going to get our butts kicked. We're going to get kicked. We're going to go down in flames. So when it comes to defending the flag and defending our military, it's defending our existence. It is. I said this yesterday. NFL players do not have the right to sit or kneel during the national anthem. That's not true. They have the ability. Roger Goodell says they can. They do not have the right. There's nothing that says they have the right. We've talked about NFL players wearing a sticker on their helmet supporting Dallas police officers. Not allowed. I mean, if a player decided to not wear his shoes tied, he would be reprimanded and fined. There is no right to freedom of speech in the NFL. Just doesn't exist. If you think there is, you're high. All the NFL has to do is say, stand. By the way, it is a rule in the NFL. You have to stand. You have to be on the field when the anthem starts. You have to hold your helmet in your left arm. You have to face the flag. Those are the rules. I don't know why the hell Roger Goodell is going down this path, but it's happening. And I got to tell you, I'm about effing done with it. I'm about done with it. There are a million ways you can express your opinion, but you don't do it at work. A million ways to express your opinion, but you don't do it at work. You don't do it at work. It's kind of interesting. I've had people write me. Well, what about you, Rob? You're spewing out your opinion every day, and I'm self-employed. I can't fire myself. I might fire myself. You know what? I've kind of been a jerk lately. I'm going to think about a fireman. Don't tell me, but I'm going to fire me. Okay, he's coming back. Hey, what's going on, guys? Nothing at all. Everything's great, Rob. Keep up the good work. You are not going to get fired. One of the reasons why professional football players are kneeling is because of police shootings and bias with regard to race. Harvard study. I just read this Harvard study. National Bureau of Economic Research is where it's published. Richard G. Fryer, the guy who wrote it, he's a black guy. And he says basically that there's no racial discrimination in police shootings. I know. Gasp. Shriek. Ah! The most surprising result of my career, he says that the study found blacks and Hispanics more than 50% more likely to experience physical interactions with police, including touching, pushing, handcuffing. So it's a matter of the suspect fighting back. 63-page study, the empirical analysis of racial differences in police use of force. Could they just call it the shooty thing? Maybe, I don't know. Appears to support research conducted at Washington State University showing that officers in simulated tests were less likely to shoot blacks than other whites, and I would assume that has changed significantly because police officers do not want to be fired, lose their jobs, lose their careers. Mr. Fryer's study, like I said, found that police are 50% more likely to engage in physical interactions with black and Hispanics. That's because they commit more crimes. Quote, it is plausible that racial differences in lower level uses of force are simply a distraction. Listen to this. And I've said this from the get-go. Black Lives Matter is a distraction from the real ills of the African-American community. That's it. I've said this time and time again. You don't know me, but yet I have. It is plausible that racial differences in lower level uses of force are simply a distraction, and movements such as Black Lives Matter should seek solutions within their own communities rather than changing the behaviors of police and other external forces. Black people kill other black people 7 times the national average. They commit felonies 85% of the time when it is an interracial crime. It is time now to recognize the crisis in the African American community and not blame cops for it. I've been saying this for 25 years. Since I was a kid in radio. You've got to address the ills of the African American community. And even though I started talking about this 25 years ago, a generation has passed. And hope and the promise of success in the African American community, particularly with young black men and women, they've not gotten any better, and it's not because of racist cops. It's not. It's about not completing high school. It's about having children out of wedlock, including when you're in high school. It's about telling kids who are successful in school that they're Uncle Toms. I don't know what the solution is. I don't. Thoroughly frustrated. I don't want to see another generation of black kids grow up hopeless and helpless and dead. Yeah. Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat from Texas, is supporting the NFL kneeling during the national anthem. I want you to be prepared because the next couple of minutes, I've got a couple of sound bites. I've got Sheila Jackson Lee, also another Texas Democrat, Al Green, not the Reverend. The Reverend is so cool. Let's stay together, loving you forever, ever. Be ready for self-righteous pontification because it's coming your way. It's coming your way, folks. Here is Sheila Jackson Lee. It's not the well of the Senate. It's the floor of the House. Floor of the House. Here she is.
We simply ask for the dignity of respect to not call our mothers a son of a bee. And if
talking about Donald Trump calling the NFL players who kneel sons of bitches. Okay.
They kneel, as I heard a young man who's an NFL player said that he will kneel from now on. And the only reason he's doing it is because someone had the lack of judgment to provoke the situation and call their mothers a name.
What is worse? Calling someone an SOB or calling someone a Nazi or a white supremacist? I'm just curious.
I refuse to accept that as a standard of leadership for the highest office in the world. And even if you never understand it, sir, if you never understand it, if you think you're playing to your base, if you're not the unifier, we will continue to stand in the gap. And racism,
I don't know if you should stand. You should kneel in the gap, right?
Is going to be.
And what's the gap?
Under our foot.
Like in the Gap, the store? I don't know.
You know where else it's going to be? It's going to be under our knee.
Okay, so there you go. So there's Sheila Jackson Lee. Here she is talking about the, and this is where she's wrong, talking about the First Amendment and the NFL. There is no First Amendment with regard to employment, particularly in the NFL. Go ahead.
Because we in the Congressional Black Caucus have always stood.
Whoa. Did she say Black Caucus? I would assume that means no Asian people or Jewish people. I could be wrong.
For what is right. And the First Amendment, there is no basis in the First Amendment that says that you cannot kneel on the national anthem.
Yeah, you can, but not at work.
Or in front of the flag. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech.
Here she is. She's going to be actually quoting, I guess, from the First Amendment, and she's so stupid.
Or of press. Prohibition against abridging freedom of speech applies to Congress and state and local governments through the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Speech may be abridged.
Probably the first time she's read the First Amendment.
In two distinct ways.
Directly
by regulating content of speech, by indirectly by regulating time, manner, and place.
Wow. Incoherent. Here she is talking. Oh, she kneels. She kneels in the House of Representatives, which I mean is not uncommon. Really not uncommon kneeling in the Oval Office. If you ever paid attention to Bill Clinton, apparently there was a lot of kneeling going on there.
And so you cannot abridge.
Yeah.
By standing up with tweets.
Is this thing on?
And you cannot abridge without law and regulation. And there is no regulation that says that these young men cannot stand against the dishonoring of their mothers by you calling them fire the son of a bee.
We use the SOB expression. I mean, if you ever watch, what was it, Patton? The original movie with George C. Scott, he called it SOB. Is it really calling your mom that? I don't know.
You tell me which of
should we rather? Well, you don't want to call them a mother, okay.
Those children's mothers.
That's even worse than SOB.
Or a son of a bee. That is racism.
Yeah.
It's
racism. Yeah.
Not deny it.
Sure.
You cannot run for it.
You bet it is.
And I kneel in honor of them.
She's kneeling.
I kneel in front of the
flag. The mic's up here.
And on this floor.
Sheila,
I kneel.
Okay, here, I'll move it. I'll move it here. Here we go. Hold on.
The flag is a symbol for freedom.
You're a little low. There you go.
Because I'm going to stand against racism.
Yeah.
I kneel because I will stand with those young men, and I'll stand with our soldiers and I'll stand with America because I kneel.
There you go. She's kneeling. She's on her knees. That's great. That's again not that uncommon in the Congress of the United States. Representative Al Green took it a step further. He plans to file a privileged resolution that calls for the impeachment, because this is the latest thing now. I mean, Donald Trump has done everything. I think he chose Rocky Road over vanilla ice cream, and that was impeachable like a week ago, because everything is impeachable, right? Everything's impeachable with regard to Donald Trump. Here is the Reverend Al Green. Again, the Representative Al Green, not the Reverend. The Reverend of Al Green is spectacular. Here is Representative Al Green talking about the NFL protests.
I rise today as a proud American, a person who believes in his country, who salutes the flag and says the Pledge of Allegiance and sings the national anthem.
Even though he's a Democrat, I know suddenly Democrats are flag waving. It's kind of crazy. They usually burn them.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to make comments that I never thought I'd have to make in the well of the House of Congress. I rise today to defend, denounce, and announce.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to defend any mother,
yes,
who has been called a dog.
A dog.
Because her son,
yes,
engaged in peaceful protest. I rise, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to defend any son who is called the son of a dog.
Yes.
Because he engaged in peaceful protest.
Female dog, actually, I think is what it is. If I had a self-righteous pontification meter, that's got to be pegged out, right? Here's a little more from the representative, not the Reverend Al Green.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to denounce these comments that have been made because they have brought discourse to a new low. Mr. Speaker, this is a level of indecency,
yes, sir,
that is unbecoming the presidency.
Now, I think Bill Clinton was banging an intern in the White House. That was, I think, unbecoming. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to say to the world that this is not what America is all about.
No.
Calling people SOBs.
Yes.
And we know what a B is. It's a dog. Mr.
Okay, now, again, there are people who are calling the president and his staff Nazis and white supremacists. And here we get to the end game, the latest move to impeach the president by Democrats.
My heart tells me that I must do something. So, Mr. Speaker,
yes,
I denounce the comments that were made,
yes,
and I rise to announce
he's rising,
that on next week, Mr. Speaker, I will bring a privileged resolution before the Congress of the United States of America.
Yes.
I will stand here in the well of the Congress, and I will call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
Okay. So there you go. That's the latest bloviation coming out of Congress from Representative, not Reverend Al Green. You know you're on the losing end of the argument when Hollywood gets behind you? George Clooney has written a prayer poem with regard to the flack the NFL is getting for its anthem protests. He says, I pray for my country. I pray that we can find more that unites us than divides us. I pray that our nation's leaders want to do the same. I pray that young children like Tamir Rice can feel safe in their own neighborhood. I pray for all of our children. I doubt he prays. I just kind of doubt it. I could be wrong. I pray for our police and first responders. If you support this anthem protest, you aren't behind our police and first responders. I pray for our men and women of the armed services. I pray that dissent will always be protected in this great country. It is. In the First Amendment. It's just not unbridled when it comes to the workplace. I pray for a more perfect union. And when I pray, I kneel. George Clooney has a house. He lives Lake Como, Italy, by the way. Thought you should know. He doesn't live here. DirecTV is offering the opportunity for you to drop their NFL package. You will be excused if you decide you want to drop the NFL package because of the rigmarole. I said rigmarole. The rigmarole associated with the protests. Want to thank our sponsors, by the way. I do have several sponsors of the radio program, including Dr. Alex Nelson. Alex Nelson is a chiropractor in Kansas City, and he's fantastic. And he is a young guy. Have you experienced compressed discs in your back? Have you experienced things like hip pain, knee pain, neuropathy? Oh my goodness, you'd be amazed what chiropractic can do. You would be amazed. If you're in Kansas City, will you go to fountainoflifechiro.com? Fountainoflifechiro.com. They're at 8335 North Congress Avenue in Kansas City. You can call this number. Ready? 816-741-4711, 816-741-4711. Fountainoflifechiro.com. If you sit at a desk like me every day, it'll save you, man. It will absolutely save you. All right, a little bit more. Oh, here we go. We're all racist, by the way. If you disagree with the NFL protest, you're a racist. You're whatever. You're a slave owner. I guess I'm a slave owner. I've been, there's a lot of things being bandied about. Some of us are, I guess, slave owners because we think you should stand during the national anthem. Cornell Brooks was on CNN talking about this. And this is the inflammatory language of the left. This is thoroughly disgusting to me. Cornell Brooks, I guess, an analyst, somehow a pundit, and he says that using the word SOB is a racial code for the N-word. Here's Cornell Brooks.
Unfortunately, and it pains me to say this, that the president's tweets and comments had nothing to do with the flag and everything to do with race. When the president refers to Colin Kaepernick in Alabama as a son of the B word,
he didn't call Colin Kaepernick an SOB. He called people who would kneel during the national anthem an SOB. There are whites and blacks who do this, by the way. Yeah.
It is racial code for the N-word across America and in Alabama, particularly when he does so in the context of a campaign rally for the Republican nominee for the Senate, particularly when he manages to demonstrate more moral outrage against the NFL as opposed to Nazis. This has everything to do with race.
Now we're going back to Charlottesville.
Particularly when Colin Kaepernick played ball in a league that's 70% African-American. And particularly when he was protesting against the fact that African-Americans are 3 times more likely to lose their lives at the hands of the police than their white counterparts.
And they also commit murder at 7 times the national average. There's that thing, that whole murdery thing. God, if we could just do something about the murdery thing. Son of a gun. Anyway. Another CNN analyst, Keith Boykin, commented about Donald Trump and saying that by calling you a, pardon the language, son of a bitch for sitting during the national anthem, that you are a white supremacist. This is, see, when you're losing an argument, you call names like this. I never do this in an argument. I never, when I debate, and I'm a libertarian leading conservative, I don't say suddenly in the middle of an argument, I don't go, you're a racist. You're a poopy butt. I just don't. I'd rather just talk and win the argument. But no. when you are losing the argument, you have to say you're a racist or you're a white supremacist. Here is a little bit from Keith Boykin.
A serious conversation. We have a white supremacist president of the United States. He's encouraging white supremacists.
He's a white supremacist, yeah.
And the fact is, yes, I'm going to say,
I think he's a billionaire supremacist for sure. Yeah, totally.
Debate that later, but the fact is,
here's the host saying, "No, wait. You're saying he's a white supremacist? Prove it."
But don't also throw the grenade, Keith. If you think he is a white supremacist,
oh my God, a CNN host with a bit of reason.
You really believe that this president is a white supremacist?
It almost doesn't matter what I think or whether he is.
No, it does actually. When you call someone a white supremacist, it does matter, butthead.
Because he's
words matter. You say this all the time.
The reason why I say this is because he's encouraging and inciting these people. I mean, if this is really about respect for the flag.
Is this different for you post-Charlottesville?
Well, that's exactly the point I was going to make. If this is really about respect for the flag,
you bet.
Why didn't he call for those young white men in Charlottesville who were marching with the Confederate flag to be fired from their jobs?
Because 100 million people don't watch him on Sundays when they play football. That's why. They're just a bunch of white trash people who got together in Charlottesville. That's actually what it's all about. Here's a little more from this doofus, Keith Boykin, who, for some odd reason, can't let go of the legacy of slavery and actually accuses Donald Trump of being a slave master.
And this president is a master of that. And that's the reason why he's playing the plantation politics. He thinks apparently that he is a slave master of black people in the NFL, of black people in the country. He's attacking.
What a complete dick move. What a complete dick move to say this. Slavery ended in 1865 in some of the states of the Union. It ended before the year 1800. Let's hear a little bit more of this doofus.
Playing the plantation politics. He thinks apparently that he is a slave master of black people in the NFL, of black people in the country.
There are plantation politics happening in the country, and it's when black people decide to leave the Democrat Party. They are destroyed generally. That's the way it works normally. If you try to leave the ideological plantation of the Democrat Party or liberalism, you are going to be captured and returned.
He's attacking Jamel Hill and Colin Kaepernick, and he's attacking Steph Curry. He's attacking black athletes and black sports figures, but he doesn't want to attack the white supremacists and the Ku Klux Klan members in Charlottesville.
Honestly, I don't even know where to begin. There's always going to be racism. It happens in France. I know it's kind of weird, right? In Belgium. It happens all over the place. I don't know why it is. I don't know why we have to look at each other through a prism of race or whatever construct. But it exists. It sucks. It's awful. But there are those who are seriously trying to drag us back to 1968 or 1861. And it's ridiculous. And there's some people who are buying into it. I saw San Antonio Spurs coach Greg Popovich, who's talking on the Paul Feinbaum show on ESPN2 about white people. And he is clearly all in for what's going on in academia with regard to the LGBT community. Nothing against you if you're gay. I don't care if you're G or B or T or Q or R, S, T, whatever. I don't even care. But this guy is buying into this crap. Listen to it's like parroting talking points.
You know, whether it's the LGBT movement or, women's suffrage.
Women's suffrage. 1919 is, I think, when women got the right to vote.
Race, it doesn't matter. People have to be made to feel uncomfortable.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable. I guess I should feel uncomfortable.
And especially white people, because we're comfortable. We still have no clue of what being white means.
Okay, you are a multi-millionaire for an NFL franchise, and you have a lot of multi-millionaires working for you.
And if you read some of the recent literature, you'll realize it really is no such thing as whiteness, but we've kind of made it up. That's not my original thought, but it's true. And
yeah.
It's hard to sit down and decide that, yes, it's like you're at the 50 meter mark in a 100-meter dash. And you got that kind of a lead. Yes, because you were born white, you have advantages that are systemically, culturally, psychologically there.
Okay. I know we've bought into the idea of white privilege. I grew up on a farm in Iowa. I used to have to get up 5 a.m. and do chores before I went to school, and then do chores when I got home. Went to McDonald's like once in my life before my 20th birthday. I had a lot of things happen in my life that were very unsavory and terrible. If you think that being pulled over by the police and being asked for your license and insurance is more important than being a poor coal miner or a poor farmer in the world, you're wrong. There are a lot of people who in the country are not privileged. Oprah Winfrey, privileged. 70% of NFL players are African-American, privileged. Okay? You escaped it. I get it. I escaped what I was going through when I was a kid. I escaped it. I needed to. It was bad. It was really bad. I've never gotten a break. In my life. I've been in radio for 30 years. 28 years. Of those years, I've been unemployed 4 years. Lost a home, lost everything. There are a lot of people who are privileged in the country, and it's not just because of the color of their skin. If I were privileged, I would have never gone through that. Whatever. You could agree, disagree, whatever. NRA has decided to kind of fight back against all of this flag protesting stuff. Here is their latest PSA with regard to the flag.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave. From high school gyms to towering stadiums, every time I see our flag wave, I feel a humbling reminder of the brave who keep and have kept us free. I stand to honor the sacrifices of the generations before me. Heroes who charged into battle through bombs and bullets, who lost their brothers and still pushed through, fighting for every inch of our freedom. I stand for my brothers who can't stand anymore. Men who hunted terrorists to the ends of the earth, who sacrificed their bodies and their lives so that we could peacefully live ours. I stand for the children, the spouses, and parents whose family made the ultimate sacrifice for us. We are all standing. We're the National Rifle Association of America, and we are freedom's safest place.
All right, there you go. That's the latest from the NRA. Before I go today, and I don't always like to make this political because I do other things that are non-political. I just think this is such an important thing for us to discuss. I think it's important to honor our flag and our anthem. I really do. When I'm at my home and I have friends over to watch football, we take our hats off. We stop. We reflect. Liberal or conservative, we do. I think it's important. I really do. Okay, real quick, couple of points of information for you. I have a T-shirt line, tpublic.com conservatees, tpublic.com/user/conservatees. Let me show you a couple of designs here. How about this? My kid is not a snowflake. You can have this on T-shirts. You can have it on onesies, on hoodies. How about this? You can't coexist when some want to kill you. Veganism is an eating disorder, and it is, and it really is. Honestly, if you ever had a vegan in your house, god awful. Russia. Proud climate change denier. All of these are available, again, at this website, tpublic.com/user/conservatees. Here's one for you. Calm down. She lost. He won. Get over it. Suck it up, snowflake. I got your safe space right here. Again, you can put it on T-shirts. You can put it on hats. You can put it. You ever see the bumper sticker on Priuses? It says war is not the answer. Well, folks, sometimes war is the answer. Sometimes war is the answer. And when it comes to Kim Jong-un, war's going to be the answer. All right? The Che Guevara shirt that we see on campuses everywhere celebrating the commie, murderous douchebag. Murderous commie douchebag, not a hero. Again, these are all available on this website. And we got some new ones dealing with sitting during the national anthem. tpublic.com/user/conservatees. Check it out and order, okay? And while we are here, Liberty One TV is a tremendous new venture. I'm proud to be a part of it. I don't have $1 million studio. I don't. I'm just a guy who has an opinion. Hopefully you recognize has a sense of humor. And I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about what's going on in the world. And I want you to join me every day here. If you would, subscribe, okay? LibertyOneTV.com. It's $10 a month if you want to do that. There are other levels of support. But of all the things that you maybe give money to, for me, I give my daughter $10 a week for her allowance. She doesn't do a very good job. Her primary tasks are letting the dogs out and taking the trash out, and she fails all the time. I'm going to take away a week, and I'm just going to become a Liberty One TV subscriber. But this is a really cool way for many of us in the alternative media to reach you and talk to you. And I greatly appreciate you joining me. Okay? So if you would subscribe, $10 a month, LibertyOneTV.com, LibertyOneTV.com. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it is Carson Show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it is Rob Carson. The audio version of this podcast is available at iTunes and iHeartRadio and Audio Boom and TuneIn and Google Play and Google Plus and YouTube and a bunch of other places. In the meantime, have a blessed day. Thanks to my sponsor, Alex Nelson, Fountain of Life Chiro. If you're in Kansas City, consider getting chiropractic treatment with Dr. Alex Nelson. fountainoflifechiro.com. In the meantime, God bless you. See you very shortly on Liberty One TV. See you.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.